And hello everyone. I'm Gary Fess. I'm the executive director of CCNL, and we're coming to you today to focus on campus ministry. We're launching into September. Students are coming from all over the place to study at Western and Fanshawe, and we have some exciting ministry that's taking place on campus. And so we just wanted to take a few moments to have some of our partners share what's happening on campus at Western and Fanshawe. But first of all, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Stuart, why don't I start with you? Go ahead.
Sure. We're Stuart and Mary Smith, and we've been working with international students in London for about 22 years now, the last 10 of which we've been on staff with International Student Ministries Canada. We're associate staff, so we're volunteers, and we've worked with some of the many thousands of students that are in London.
Okay, that's great. Ben, go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Ben. I am at Western. I'm a student at Western working with Power to Change Western. And we also serve so a lot of students at Western, helping people take their next step towards Jesus and connecting people with churches. Yeah.
And Julia, you're with Power to Change as well. Just introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Julia. I'm serving alongside Ben, leading our team, our leadership team this year. I'm also a student at Western going into my fourth year. And yeah, our ministry just seeks to either introduce people to Jesus or provide a way to walk alongside them in their faith through their post-secondary journey.
Oh, that's awesome. And Johnny P.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Johnny, and I'm the pastor at the Table Intercultural Church. It's a new church plant we launched back in January. And our primary focus are the students at Fanshawe College, and most notably our international folk. And so, yeah, we seek to create a space of belonging community for all these students who are flying in or coming in from far reaches of the world, who don't really have many connections. So we're trying to cultivate and build a space where, yeah, they feel like they're at home, away from home, and walking in step with Jesus.
That's great. Well, Ben and Julia, why don't you just talk to us a little bit of what you see happening at Western, the needs of the students, and what you're doing to minister to those needs?
Okay,
Do
I
you
can
want
go.
to start?
I'll go first. I'll go
Okay.
first. Yeah, so there's a lot of students at Western.
How many?
And there's how many? That's a very good question. I think it's around
50,000?
50,000.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, and there's a lot of there's a lot of harvest there. There's a lot of students that are thinking about faith, that are longtime Christians, that are new Christians, but moving to London for the first time, away from home and away from their church families. So yeah, there's a lot of need to bring community in that. And so yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that we're providing through Power to Change. We aren't a church, but we are part of the bigger church, like you were saying, Gary. Yeah, I think the biggest things that I've seen are, yeah, specifically I want to touch on the students that are coming from other places in Canada or across the world that are away from family, away from their churches. Just yeah, bringing a place of family and fellowship and true community that can only be found in Jesus in the lives of students that are can feel really lonely in a new place.
So how do you do that? How do you
Secular
do that?
cultural.
How do you
Yeah.
how do you
So
connect
we
students?
so in terms of connecting with the students that are already know about Power to Change, we have like larger fellowship gatherings every Friday where we meet for worship. We hear a speaker from either like a student or a pastor or someone that can speak into the lives of the students about Jesus specifically. And yeah, we also have smaller groups where students can sign up for a small group, a weekly small group. They get to study the Bible together with other students, and led by a student alumni or an older student in our community. And then yeah, they kind of go through a book of the Bible together. They get to pray together and share burdens with one another, and yeah, walk together. I think it's really beautiful to have those two aspects of a larger like community and a smaller community gathering.
So it sounds like
Um,
relationship
yes,
and fellowship is really important to what you
it
do.
is.
Well,
It is.
Julia, what do you want to add to that?
I would just add that we also are very focused on servant leadership. Um, I would say 40 to 50 people in our club are in different positions of leadership. Um, and so, yeah, we just challenge people to step into roles where they talk about Jesus, where they serve Jesus. And they may have never had an opportunity to do this before. And then that gives them the tools they need to continue to do that in a church community when they graduate and when they, yeah, step into new spaces. So that's something we're also really passionate about, is building up Christian leaders.
Yeah, and they will be leaders in the community, right? When they graduate and go out into the work world, they will rise to be leaders in the community, which is really excellent. Okay, Stuart and Mary, tell us about Fanshawe and what you see happening there.
Yeah. Well, first of all, like we said, we work with international students, and why is it international student ministry important? Is because God has brought to our city, we have no idea how many.
Yeah, last year at least 25,000.
Thousands and thousands of individuals, most of them coming from the area. It's called the 1040 window, with a predominantly Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh, and non-religious parts of the world that as a church, we have been least effective in bringing the gospel to. Now God is bringing them to us, and they're doing all the hard work of crossing the culture, learning the language and studying here. And we have the opportunity just to build relationships with them.
Yeah. So that's the why of why international student ministry is important. The how, it's been said that the secret weapon for gospel advancement is hospitality. So this is an opportunity to we create opportunities to build friendships and relationships, even through casual things like an invitation to coffee, a dinner in a home, or a dinner, a group dinner that we have. English is also the most studied language in the world. Many international students that come really need work on having conversational partners. There's other people from their countries here, and the tendency is to hang around with them, but they really need to speak with a native English speaker to improve their English.
And so we seek to minister to their students' practical, social, and spiritual needs. And a lot of that is we call bridge, where we just building relationships opportunities. And so they're not specifically evangelistic opportunities. And as the president of our organization says, it's a bridge, no fishing from the bridge. And so we don't bait and switch. If we say we're having a social event, that's what it is. Of course, conversations may happen and hopefully do happen because we make it known that we are Christians, and we ask students how we can pray for them and everything. But yeah, so we're having a picnic on Labor Day. We're having a dinner called Focus, Friends of Overseas College and University Students, on September 27th. And we have a speaker from Ivy Business School who's going to talk about what do Canadian professors expect. And this is an opportunity where Canadians bring the food. We sit with the students, we build relationships with them that hopefully will continue outside.
And as far as CCNL goes, what we're really wanting to do is build a city ministry where where various churches and ministries in the city have events that say, hey, we could invite international students to. Well, we want to publicize that, make opportunities for all the churches in the city to work together to do that. We do have a few resources, and I'll maybe just quickly share a QR code. So this QR code, if you scan it with your phone, it will take you to our launch pad. From that launch pad, you can sign up to come to our picnic. You can check out the Every International website, which is free, but you can learn about how to minister to international students. It's got a number of other volunteer resources. We've got a short volunteer orientation video on. So I really encourage everybody that's watching the video, scan this, have a look at it, and if your church or organization has things that you'd like to incorporate in this, we'd be glad to talk to you about doing that.
Well, that's
One
excellent.
other thing, yeah, sorry. One other thing that we have is a program called Friends for Dinner that's gradually spreading across the country. There's opportunity for Canadian Christians to invite a couple students over for like a Thanksgiving meal, a celebration around the holiday, because they're new to Canada. These celebrations are new to them, and it's just really impactful.
Wonderful, wonderful. Johnny, what's your perspective on Fanshawe, and what are you guys doing to reach out to the students there?
Yeah, so Mary Stuart and I, we actually collaborate on a couple things. So I've attended a number of focus dinners, Friends for Dinner as well. We've had people over for Thanksgiving. And so I can attest, wonderful stuff. And, I want to echo what they said about hospitality being the key towards building relationship and inviting people into the life of Christianity and just the life of Jesus. So that's essentially what we've modeled as a church. We are founded on 4 fun words: food, family, faith, and fun. So those are 4 F's. And we kind of just like to operate pretty grassroots and simple as the church back in Acts. So we keep things very homey and cozy. We'll have a once a month meal at our place where we cook and prepare dinner for everyone who's a part of our church and have worship and testimony time. So that's really, really cool. And we see things progress, like students are encountering more of Jesus because they are being invited into our lives and into family. And so there's a sense of that. Apart from our church, we also run a student support network called Red Frogs, and we operate mostly around orientation week. So we essentially enter the party life of the school, and the ethos behind Red Frogs is to safeguard a generation. So next week in orientation week, we're going to have a bunch of people in red shirts that have frogs on them, and we are going to provide water for all these events that the college is hosting. And on Wednesday, it's actually going to be really cool because they're shutting down a part of Dundas Street downtown to have an event promoting a sober lifestyle. There's a guy and his organization, his name is Dean, and he's organizing this huge event. And we're actually able to come alongside the college as their personal water people. So it's been really cool to see that a couple of years ago when we started Red Frogs, we've kind of entered the fray as some weary guests. They don't know if they can trust us, to now being very trusted people and earned enough rapport that they can depend on us for these things. So it's been really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, why don't we kind of finish up now just talking about how the Christian community, how can the churches of London come alongside you and support you in your ministry? Ben and Julia, why don't you talk first?
Sure. I can talk really practically. We it's very difficult for us to host events on campus. There's just a lot of restrictions from our student council. And so we've been very fortunate to be blessed with churches offering up their space to us for our holiday events. And so that's just one practical way to use churches' spaces. And then we love for church for pastors in London to come and speak on what they're passionate about for students and young adults. So that's another way.
Oh,
Ben,
that's
if you have more.
good.
I can think of a couple more, but that really covers a lot of it. The obvious one is prayer for sure. Could really use prayer for students that are unsure of um, coming out to an event and like just entering. There's a barrier of joining, and yeah, especially with this first week of school coming up. Yeah, for students as they like come to Western for the first time, and that they would be able to find community and power to change if that's the Lord's will. Yeah, the other thing is, what was I going to say? Definitely mentorship. So a lot of these students, um, they need to be connected with a church family, and we're not pretending like the church should just be a bunch of young adults. But no, like the church is multi-generational, and it needs to be like that. And it needs to be of many different spiritual maturities. And so, yeah, just that it would be amazing if we could connect students with churches, and churches would be able to build into the lives of these students, and to have like individual mentorship too. I don't know how that would look like, but I know mentorship is really important for students. So yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. And so could we connect with you if we had people that could be used in mentorship? Is that something that you would entertain?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I guess we can send our email or socials, and you contact us that way.
Sure, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Stuart and Mary, how can we support what's going on at Fanshawe?
Well, I guess let's start with our dream just really quickly. We were asked in a meeting a few years ago what our dream, what our vision is, and I said what we want to see is what we want to do is we want to start a forest fire in the forest city. We want to start a forest fire of followers of Jesus who become aware of the need and opportunity with international students, and as they go about their day-to-day life, because everywhere you go in London, you meet international students. If you do talk to them, where are you from? How long you been here? Are you at Western? Are you at Fanshawe? What do you think of Canada? And if the conversation is going well, you can say, well, hey, there's a Tim Hortons right over there. Can I buy you a coffee? I'd like to get to know you. Because just about everywhere you are in London, there's a Tim Hortons right over there. Few other things as well. If your church has an event or a ministry that you'd like us to promote to international students, let us know. We'd be glad to do that. And another exciting thing that's happening is it's called Spaces Shared, which this is actually it's a company, but it pairs up often older people that have a spare room or two in their house with students that need a place to live. They provide a lot of support, and you can find the Spaces Shared link on our launch pad that I shared with you earlier. So those are a few of the things, and we also welcome people to come out and build relationships. Take advantage of the events that we have to build relationships with students.
Yeah, a lot of the students that we're interacting with are mature individuals. I can't tell you how many doctors and engineers are in the English conversation circles. And so conversation partners, if anybody's interested in a friendship and just helping somebody get confident in speaking English, you don't have to teach, just help them.
Yeah, and so to go with what Ben was saying about mentoring, like we were fortunate to have a sizable network. We were just at an event yesterday, and there was an international student there. He's just started working at Canada Life. Well, there's another guy I know that has just retired from Canada Life. Said, "Here, Peter, let me introduce you to Ken." and they were chatting away about that. And so whether it be a professional in your church, there's people from that same profession that are here studying that we can connect, and they can talk, talk shop on a level that I can't talk shop on.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
great. That's great. Well, why don't we end with you there, Johnny? And just from your perspective, what can we as church leaders, ministry leaders do to support what you guys are doing?
Yeah, absolutely. As everyone has said, continued prayer. Prayer is the vehicle in which the Holy Spirit moves and does um, epic things. So we need prayer for sure. And to key on like mentorship, every student that I meet, their first go-to problem that I hear of is that, oh, I'm looking for a job. And so mentoring is part of that, where you could build conversation and build confidence in the student just from just hanging out with them and letting them know what resources are available to them. A lot of people come over not really understanding what's around and what they can access. And so, yeah, if people just take a little bit of time out of their day to be like, hey, did you know you have X, Y, and Z available to you? That can definitely broaden and expand a student's horizons and what they're able to do, and it becomes less panicky for them. A lot of the worry, especially for international students, is just the unknown and the newness, and anything we can do to sort of alleviate that would definitely be appreciated for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Well, that's awesome. And I want to encourage those of you who are watching this video today. We want to really support our campus ministries here in the city, and they are a part of us, and we are a part of them. And so I would encourage you to support them financially, with prayer, with support, mentors, promoting some of the events that they are hosting, opening your church, whatever it is that the Lord would lead you to do. But let's, as a church community, come alongside these folks and support them in their ministry, because I really believe it's an important ministry which with long lasting impact. So again, thank you for joining us today, and thank you to our panel, and we pray God's blessing upon you.